Good morning, students. Today our topic is Clostridium. So, what is Clostridium? Clostridium is a gram-positive bacilli. It is an anaerobic spore-forming and their shape is spindle-shaped bacilli. The Clostridium is a three types. Clostridium perfringens. It is also called Clostridium velskai, Clostridium tetani, and Clostridium botulinum. Clostridium perfringens causing gas gangrene, Clostridium tetani causing tetanus, and Clostridium botulinum causing botulism and food poisoning. So today we will discuss about the Clostridium perfringens. Clostridium perfringens, it is also called Clostridium velskai. So their morphology of it is a large gram-positive capsulated and non-motile bacilli. It is a measuring 4 to 6 μm into 1 μm in size. Their shape is parallel sides and slightly rounded ends. They occur singly or in chains. Spores are oval and central are subterminal. Next of all, cultural characteristics of Clostridium velskai. Let's see. It is a anaerobic growing at 37 degree of Celsius of incubation temperature and their pH is 5.5 to 8. Growth is best in media containing carbohydrate such as glucose. Clostridium velskai, how to growth nutrient agar media. Let's see. On nutrient agar media, two types of colonies are produced. One is round, smooth, regular, convex and grayish yellow color. And their size is measuring 2 to 4 mm in diameters. Clostridium velskai, how to grow up in blood agar medium. Human sheeps are rabbit bloods. Let's see. Double zone of hemolysis, narrow inner zone of complete hemolysis causing by theta toxin and outer wider zone of incomplete hemolysis due to alpha toxin is formed on blood agar medium. The Clostridium velskai is produced 12 distinct toxins, 4 major lethal, 8 minor non-lethal toxins and enterotoxins. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेथल टॉक्सिन्स. लेथल टॉक्सिन्स में ये क्या प्रोड्यूस करता है? अल्फा टॉक्सिन्स, बीटा टॉक्सिन एंड इप्सिलॉन. एंड नॉन लेथल टॉक्सिन्स में गामा, डेल्टा, कापा. Then last of all, enterotoxin. Some strains of type A Clostridium perfringens produce enterotoxin which is heat labile. Such strains when ingested in contaminated food produce this toxin which causes diarrhea and other symptoms of food poisoning. And third of all, pathogenesis of Clostridium velskai. So let's see. First of all, gas gangrene. Second of all, food poisoning and necrotizing enteritis. Firstly, I deal about the gas gangrene. So what is gas gangrene and how to cause gas gangrene? Let's see. The organism lives as commensal of intestinal tract of man and animals. The spores of the organism are widely distributed in nature, present in dust, soil, human skin and feces, etc. When a wound gets contaminated by soil, dust or feces, three types of clinical conditions may be produced. Simple wound infection, anaerobic or clostridial cellulitis. Third of all, anaerobic are clostridial myonecrosis or anaerobic myositis. First, simple wound infection. How to cause Clostridium vacui. Here, a small number of Clostridia bacilli of low virulence is present in wound tissue without any infection. These Clostridia cannot multiply due to lack of anaerobic conditions in open wound. However, they may delay the process of wound healing without invading underlying tissues. Next of all, anaerobic are Clostridial cellulitis. Here the spores germinate in necrotous tissues and invade local facial plants with minimal toxins produced without invasion of muscles. Gas production may occur but without any significant toxemia, and lessons are self-limiting. The infecting Clostridia are of low invasive power and poor toxigenicity. Third of all, myositis. It is a serious condition characterized by formation of abundant amount of exotoxin and production of gas. Incubation period varies from 6 hours to 6 weeks. The spores in the wound germinate the thrive in dead tissue where conditions are anaerobic. The infection may cause complication in wounds with extensive tissue destruction like an accidental injuries, wounds without improper drainage. Then next of all, food poisoning. Some enterotoxin producing strains of Clostridium vacui type A produce mild form of food poisoning. It is the third most common etiological agent of food poisoning after Salmonella, S. typhi and Staphylococcus aureus. Infection occur by ingestion of contaminated meat and polluted meat, which is cooked in bulk. Due to slow penetration of heat in deep meat piece, the heat-resistant spores survive 100 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. The incubation period of varies from 10 to 12 hours, after which enterotoxins are produced by organism in small intestine, causing lower abdominal pain, vomiting and diarrhea. Recovery takes place in 1 to 2 days. Then last of necrotizing enteritis. So what is necrotizing enteritis? Let's see. It is a rare condition but sporadic cases have been reported from Germany, Nepal and Thailand. It is caused by Clostridium vacui type C, characterized by marked fetal necrotizing gingivitis. The laboratory diagnosis of Clostridium vacui is hematological investigation, bacteriological investigation and biochemical test. So first of all, hematological investigation, we need to TLC count and DLC count. TLC usually show no significant changes and DLC also no significant changes. Second of all, bacteriological investigation includes specimen, microscopy, cultures. First of all, specimen, wound swab and discharge, necrosed tissue and muscles fragments. Second of all, microscopy, gram staining of the smear made from Above specimens show gram-positive spore bearing bacilli. Next of all, culture. Specimen is inoculated on blood agar medium or cooked meat medium, incubated anaerobically for 48 to 72 hours in blood agar medium. Hemolysis is seen around colonies. Mostly beta hemolysis is seen around colonies. Next of all, biochemical test. Sugar fermentation, indole test, and litmus milk. The test also take in Clostridium vacui, and their treatment is antibiotics and antitoxins. Antibiotics including penicillin, sulfonamide, and metronidazole, and antitoxin in combination with antibiotics and surgery. Removal of damaged tissue is an effective prophylactic measure. 3 doses of 1 intravenous dose followed by 2 intramuscular dose at 6-hour interval are effective. Third of all, active immunization with toxoids.